Steve Shirella told a Netflix camera there is zero evidence of intent and prior calculation. But he also told Metro Health Hospital Police in a report that I found August 2020 that his daughter tried to kill herself and had tried to kill the boyfriend. And I'm basically just trying to get, I mean, now that you know that, what do you think he was trying to say? Or do you have any idea what was going through, how he had like both those rationalizations that can't, coexist?
Well, yeah, I think right after the crash is they knew exactly what happened. They started to try to and he immediately said that, like, it was like within a small, like when the crash first happened, he said something along the lines of, my daughter's she's trying to kill herself and her boyfriend or something like that. And then he tried to retract it. That's exactly what that was. They were trying to cover up, and then it instantly was cover up everything. So
when she found out when Dom's funeral was, we were all there, and she was like telling her mom, she's like, I'm going to that funeral. Like, I don't care, I'm going to the funeral. Like, because she's that type of girl. You know what I mean? She's that type of girl. She's like, I'm going to that funeral. Like, either I'm going, or you're not stopping me. Like, I'm going. And so I remember we left that day, and the next day was his funeral, and we had to get called back because she was like, with all the injuries that she had, she was ripping herself out of the bed, trying to get up and walk. And like, her dad came up to me and was like, she's going to kill herself if she walks. Like, she's going to die. And like, she's like, we need you guys to calm her down, sit her down, or else the cops would have to come in and pin her down and tie her down and stuff like that. So we were able to calm her down at that point. So I know that's going to affect her life forever.
Weren't the cops called up there? The Metro Police?
I don't know if they were. It might have been that occasion if they were, but
I think it was that day because she was freaking out.
Yeah, because I know when I was there was no cops that I could see. I thought that they were thinking about calling the cops if we couldn't calm her down.
Was she ever was the idea of suicide ever even brought up? Davion ever say anything?
Davion or Dom, no, they never. Davion, as much as he was mentally down, the last thing he would want to do is kill himself.
The world know. That is my number one focus, is to let the world know all of the misinformation that was put out there and continues to be put out there. Something off the top of my head was the fact that Landon and Rosie are not Davion nor Dominic's best friends. They actually are Mackenzie's best friends, and they tell people they're Dom and Davion's friends, so they can say bad things about them and then try to make it look like Kenzie was innocent. So just something like that, or
okay, so just for context, those are the two friends that are interviewed the most in the documentary. And they do make it portray they were all in a friend group, they were all best friends, and you basically say that's not entirely true.
Right. They were acquaintances. They are Kenzie's friends, and
Why do you think, and this is a little bit off the subject, but why do you think that Christine Russo keeps saying that you and Rosie were not friends with Dom or Davion or whatever?
Just trying to discredit us. We're literally in my opinion, we're the only we're her only hope in a way. You know what I mean? And I mean, there's two other people that were there that night that are her hope, and we'll save that for later. How about that?
Okay.
Into that. But
okay.
so it's just crazy. It's crazy. They're just trying to discredit us. That's all they're trying to do. They're just trying to make us
look bad. You guys have receipts. It's crazy because you guys are getting dragged on the internet thanks to the documentary and Christine. And Christine, she is on it. Every chance she gets, she's running.
They're Kenzie's friends, and they testified in trial. They basically, from day one, Rosie never, I don't believe she ever spoke to the detectives. They didn't help with the investigation whatsoever.
I know another thing that I saw is BS is she was on a podcast saying that me and Rosie testified in court. I don't know where the fuck that came from. Are we just gonna keep saying stuff like this?
But that's all she does is lie. Literally everything that's coming out of her mouth is a lie. Every other sentence. It's wild.
Where's the documentary breakdown? Where's getting her family members on there to talk like Frank and where is all of that? I mean, weren't we told that in the beginning? So I'm confused on where that all went, and it's kind of just completely moved on with the platform. Didn't even address none of that. Didn't address none of like the actual information. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's
And I think and have posted terrible things about my brother, slandered his reputation since he's passed, and said, help say terrible things about our family. They're Mackenzie's friends. I call them her evil minions. And, a big part of that movie is it's the reason why I did this was I like what they're saying, and it's just wrong. They weren't, they use the fact that they're trying to say that they're best friends so that they can stick up for Kenzie, basically, and make it look like people, so people will believe them, basically.
Landon, can you clarify for the chat who, out of the three, Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davion, who were you the closest with?
Davion.
Okay, so now with that being said, if you felt that Mackenzie took your friend away on purpose, how would you be honest with that with the public?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I would like and Davion's not like my average best friend. Like I have two best friends that that when I get off the phone here, I'm gonna go play the game with. I sit there every night with them. I talk to them every day. Davion was a lot different than that. Davion, the fact that he lived with me and we shared like our personal lives together, and like I don't know, he was kind of more of a brother to me. He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't like I would even.
Landon and Rosie are not Davion nor Dominic's best friends.
Even say a friend or a best friend. He was more of a brother to me, and there's a lot of things that he knows and that I know about him that nobody will ever know, and nothing that pertains to this case, nothing that's important. It's stuff that's in our personal life. So it's just like I share a different bond with him, and yeah, no, I do preach this a lot. Of what you said is that like if I truly felt that this girl murdered my best friend / like brother, I wouldn't be doing this right now. I'd be doing. And another thing, just to touch on Davion, since we're on Davion real quick. There's another thing too that like I really just want to get out there that it upsets me a lot in a way, and it's the fact that like at some point in time after this accident, somebody in some group or someone came up with the narrative or came up with the way where Davion doesn't matter as much, or that he's like some form of cargo in the car. And I feel like it's just kind of bullshit. Like it's just bullshit because it's like I don't know who in their right mind would ever come out and say that, or like
relationship. That is why this took place. And what about Davion? He's just cargo in the backseat.
So now let me ask you this. Why do you think that the Russos, because I feel like not so much the Flanagans, or maybe I'm just not seeing it, but I don't feel like they're pushing this narrative as hard. Am I making sense?
I mean, I would say when it pertains to them wanting to push this narrative, I would say that allegedly, surrounded in allegedliness,
entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, Dom provided a lot for that family. He did a lot of things. I know, and I could say this now because anyone can try and do whatever they want. Get that boy's phone and look at the text messages between him and his mother and see how many times his mother's getting money off of him and stuff. You feel me? So it's like, it's stuff like that where there's a lot more deeper things behind the scenes that nobody's ever going to know about. And I feel like that's why they're pushing this so heavy, is because there's things that are missing that aren't there anymore, and there's no other way to fill that other than doing this, and
never I don't believe she ever spoke to the detectives. They didn't help with the investigation whatsoever.
They kind of built their investigation, and we got the phone call and we heard that they were saying that Mackenzie did this on purpose. That's when I went out and had my interview with police, and then Rosie, we're working on it now, but she had a full hour and a half interview with the prosecutor, not the police, with the prosecutor himself on the phone.
Right? Yeah,
yes, on the phone.
Actually went there. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and there's multiple layers of proof to prove that, but people are
they're Kenzie's friends, trying to make my brother look bad. Those are her best friends, and they just put my brother down, and that's where I draw the line. Is my brother's not here anymore, so now I'm going to defend him. So I just want to let the world know that they are liars. Never, I don't believe she ever spoke to the detectives. They didn't help with the investigation whatsoever.
Denial court in the binding over process, her lawyer literally looks at Rose and he goes, "They're going to try and charge you for drug trafficking. I'm not having you testify in court." So literally what he told Rosie. And so she just never went to court, never testified, never talked. And that was based off of legal counsel and also based off of, I mean, the fact that they just didn't call her in. They didn't subpoena her. You know, they really thought that she held the key and Rosie Graham knew what was going through Mackenzie Shrilla's mind at that moment in time and at that night. I think they would have grand jury subpoenaed her, but they didn't, because when she did have the phone call with the prosecutor, everything the prosecutor was saying, Rosie was denying and saying, "No, that's not true. That's not how that was. It's not like that. Doesn't make sense." Every time he would refer it to as a homicide investigation, she'd refer it to as an accident, and it would just tick him off, you know, and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was obvious that the information we held was no use in their investigation and their narrative. And that's really the reason why the whole public thinks that we didn't talk and that we didn't cooperate. But in reality, we did, you know?
So do you think that, it sounds to me like